Hi, everyone. This is Jackie Cooper with the Blockchain Legal Institute, and we are talking today about the BLI Legal Tech Hackathon. And I have one of our sponsors on today. So as everyone who's following the BLI Legal Tech Hackathon knows, we have 3 currently sponsors, more protocols being added. And today we're going to talk about ICP, the Internet Computer Protocol. And Kyle, I'm going to have him explain a little bit more about the 2 different tracks that you as developers can participate in. And we're really excited to have ICP be part of our hackathon this year. So how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, sure. So $20,000 worth of bounties, pretty substantial, 2 different tracks, 10,000 and 10,000. Why don't you explain a little bit about the 2 different tracks? And for those that are listening and following, we definitely will have the links in the blog below, so that way you can kind of go into a variety of areas. So Kyle, tell me more about what the tracks are.
So I think just to start with, like, ICP is kind of an interesting, novel use case of blockchain technology. We consider ourselves what's called a world computer, which is essentially take like Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud, a central a cloud service, and we're trying to replace that with blockchain technology. And so we have a highly performant blockchain. And I say all that to say that serves very well in the 2 tracks, the legal and regulatory track, which is the first one, because there's a lot of benefits by having a blockchain-backed cloud service, such as you get the tamper resistance of a consensus mechanism. So you can build applications fully on a blockchain that are much more resistant than what the typical internet provides. So in the areas of legal and regulatory, obviously, like highly confidential areas, that's extremely important. Anything that kind of represents a honeypot, so like intellectual property, you obviously don't want that being tampered with. So those are kind of like some great areas for exploring with the regulatory track. And then as well, our blockchain is natively integrated with Bitcoin. It can sign and read the Bitcoin state, sign transactions in a very secure fashion. So smart contracts on ICP actually can securely sign transactions on Bitcoin, as well as like taproot assets. So all of the Bitcoin DeFi that's going on is a lot of it's being powered by ICP. So we're encouraging developers to think outside the box and figure about, like, what kind of Bitcoin applications does the world need, and see how ICP can help deliver that vision. Oh, Jackie, you're muted.
Thank you. In terms of learning, I know that ICP provides a lot of tech support and help. So if someone's new to this, where can they go to kind of find that help during the hackathon, as well as just in general?
Yeah, so in the hackathon description for our bounties, you'll see a bunch of different resources. There's a Discord for developers that you'll find a lot of support, both from the Dfinity Foundation as well as from other developers in the ecosystem. There's a lot of resources on, like, YouTube. We've got 4 years now. Actually, we just celebrated our 4-year anniversary for the blockchain being live. So we have 4 years worth of material that has been built up by developers. We also have a forum that is great to go into and ask questions. I think what you'll find building on ICP is it's got one of the strongest developer group of communities. And so there's a lot of, depending on what your tastes are, there's a lot of different resources. And Dfinity itself has a very strong developer relation team to help support you as you build.
So why did you divide the bounties into 2 different tracks?
Yeah, I mean, the first one, so the BLI is doing a phenomenal job of thinking outside the box in terms of what value blockchain can bring to legal and regulatory worlds. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this. So we wanted, obviously, to contribute to this the innovation in that space. And then Bitcoin has just become a big area for people building, interesting applications as Bitcoin is becoming adopted by institutions, and we're seeing a lot of developers interested in building Bitcoin applications. And so, in the DC area in particular, the Maryland, Virginia, area is got a lot of Bitcoin developers. So I thought it just made sense to have a track on Bitcoin.
So anything else that you want to share about the history of ICP and what individuals who might not be familiar should know, so that way they can decide that they want to opt in on this track?
Yeah, I think so. It depends on one of the things I like to key in on is you can think really outside the box with ICP. I think a lot of times people will think about like Ethereum or Solana when they think blockchain, which has a very narrow use case. ICP again, like we're trying to be a general decentralized cloud computing platform, so you can build any type of application, and you can build the entire application on stack, including AI applications as well. So then you get that tamper resistance nature to within your AI application. And so I would say just think outside the box, think about the key areas that blockchain bring to an app in terms of an application, in terms of like feature sets. So like decentralization, permissionlessness, cheap and efficient financial rails, data ownership, again, within the legal and regulatory environment, data ownership, the ability for users to maintain control of their own data is really important. So those are kind of the key areas to key in on what would differentiate an app built on ICP versus an app built on AWS.
So for those that might be listening to this on social, I just want to remind you that we are on Dora Hacks, and the submissions can be, you can work in teams or individually, but all the way up to October 31st, projects can be submitted, and then the judging is going to be November and December, with the release of the bounties at the end of December. So we're excited to have this be our first legal hackathon, and I know that we're going to be continuing each year because there's definitely a need. I mean, this space is changing and evolving so fast that it's hard for the compliance officers, the lawyers, and also the regulators to keep up with everything that's going on. So you as developers who are listening, you know, are actually doing us a great service by thinking, you know, how to kind of create the tools that are needed for the businesses and individuals that are in our space. Any last minute thoughts, Kyle, before we sign off?
No, just encourage everyone to get hacking. The future's being written right now. So join it.
Very true. Very true. So everyone reach out if you have questions. The information will be in the blog below, because I know that this will be shared on social as well as other places. So thank you. Talk to you soon.